Now both of the 75-gallon tanks in this project are planted. The next step is going to be to fill them with water, get the lighting set up, get the filtration going, and get the carbon dioxide running on the tanks. Then we should see the plants really start to grow. So while this aquarium is filling up, I'm going to show you about the filtration that we're going to use in it. I'm going to use a canister filter. It is a classic Eheim, and I'm going to take it apart in just a sec and show you how I pack it, and also show you some of the other details of the filtration system. So this canister filter is a classic 2215 canister filter, and it's the old style in which there are no baskets. This has been used before, and the way these filters work is they have a top screen, and then they have several layers of material that you pack in right on top of each other. These are very good and very effective filters, but I think they're especially good for planted aquariums because the water flows through these filters a lot more slowly than they flow through some of the larger, bigger pattern filters. One thing I want to point out that's inside this is a new product by ChemiPure. This bag right here, both of them are what they call ChemiPure Green. They have not been released on the market yet. I've been testing them for about a year for ChemiPure, and it's a chemical media designed specifically for planted tanks. I've been extremely happy with it. You can find out more about this product on the ChemiPure websites once they release the product. But unlike the old ChemiPure, this does a much better job of not stripping out micronutrients and things from the water. And then what I also pack, there's 3 of those, and then I also pack in this is chopped up pieces of Puree foam. So this is mechanical and biological filter media. You can actually buy pieces of this already in small cubes from SwissTropicals.com. Stefan Tanner will hook you up. And the very bottom of the filter, there's a bunch of that, is an Eheim sponge, and then the very bottom are the classic Eheim ceramic rings. I'm going to pack all that back in there, just the way I had it. And when you put these filters together, they look like they're not full. And you can kind of see there's a big gap here. But when water fills this thing, everything kind of expands and fills it up to the top. And go ahead and get my... I don't put water in these to begin with. I actually let siphoning from the tank fill the machine. I'll show you how I do that. The trick to these filters is getting the clips lined up with the holes. There we go. Now I have quick disconnect valves, which you can turn off and on, and these will be connected to the tubes that go into the tank. I'm going to set this aside so I can show you some of that. Here is the outflow tubes apparatus from the filter. This little part will be in the aquarium. I'm not going to use a spray bar. I have one. I'm not going to use a spray bar because I want the water flow to be much more gentle than what a spray bar is going to do. Also coming out of the outflow is an inline heater. This is the high door unit. I like it. It'll keep the edge off the cool water in this tank. I don't really want the water in this tank to be very hot, but at least it's not a heater that's going to be in the aquarium and look ugly in there. And this is the other end of the quick disconnect valve that will hook up to the aquarium. And then the last piece, this is the intake. This part will be in the aquarium. I'll hide it behind a rock or something, and this part will hook up to the filter. It's actually a pretty simple apparatus and pretty easy to use. So now I have the intake for the canister filter located in the corner. You can see that the screen is not all the way to the bottom. It's right behind that rock. It has some suction cups kind of holding it in place. And this is the outflow. I'm not very happy with this. Eventually I want this to be a little bit lower in the water. And what I'm going to do is I'm eventually going to replace this piece with a lily pipe. But I have to find the right one and install it. But for the time being, I've got it wired with a piece of rubber coated wire to this piece of this light fixture to hold it down. I've got the weight of that heater pulling back on the back of it, which kind of makes it hard to keep it pointing down. So if we look underneath, here is the tube that's going to go to the outflow. So it's going to be on top of the filter, and this is going to connect to the pipe that goes to the bottom of the filter. So one thing I like to do with canister filters is I like to put them down inside buckets. Right like that. Now I'm going to organize my cords a little bit, put the bucket into the cabinet, and I'm going to hook up all the pipes. Okay, so everything is hooked up. Here is the inflow coming from the tank. Here is the outflow going to the aquarium. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a siphon, and it's going to draw water down this way and fill this tub up. So all I'm going to do is pull this up. Now the siphon is going and the filter is filling up with water. Now, once the filter is full of water and the tank is full of water, I'll be able to plug the filter in. It'll push any last little bit of air in the filter out of the filter, and it'll be running. So now, before the water is completely over top of the outflow, I wanted to go ahead and plug the filter in so that you can see that the filter is completely primed just by siphoning it prior to plugging it in. And there we go. Filter is running. And you'll notice that without the spray bar, this looks like it's a fast flow, but it really isn't a very fast flow. It's nice and gentle. And once the water is completely full, it's going to spread right across the top of the tank, and then it's going to hit the front glass and spread out. I really don't want a lot of current in this aquarium. The filtration for the level bottom aquarium in the basement is essentially the same as the upstairs aquarium, except in this case I'm using a Marineland canister filter. This filter has a little more power and a little more flow than the upstairs canister. It is also a basket filter, meaning that it has containers inside that holds all the biomedia. But other than that, it's basically the same. The bottom of the filter has ceramic biomedia. Above that are some sponges that I use from Puree foam all cut up. I also have the ChemiPure green chemical media in the baskets, and the top layer of the basket is more sponge filtration for just polishing the water as it comes through. The inflows and outflows are set up the same way. So in all essence, even though it's a different canister filter, it's basically the same filtration.